Now black can play the move bishop c8 to b7. No, he first plays the move c5. I just want to highlight that, yes, one has to watch out, yeah, because both after bishop b2 and after bishop b7, future craziness, future problems are really happening. And it will be a big question, how does white react to it, or black against bishop b2 idea. But for the moment, Magnus is taking his time. He has to decide what he does with his b4 pawn. Does he include the move bishop b2 immediately, just to get some feeling that how black is really trying to protect that victory?
Big question here, Nicholas. What do you make of this start? Because from move number 3, I think I'm allowed to say this, it's an absolutely fresh position that we have on the board. But bishop b2, are you expecting that on the board now?
Bishop b2 would be a very logical move to line up the battery against the pawn on g7, and well, black needs to defend this pawn for sure, so the only two sensible options that I see are either to play f6 or to play e5. But e5 is not really a move that you want to play because it weaknesses some squares. So in another game that we saw, or that I've seen at least already that is happening, f6 was played, and f6 also has some advantages that you can maybe develop the knight. On the other hand, it is also a weakening move, so it is also something which you don't really like to do. However, you have to deal with this threat in one way or another. You cannot allow that the bishop takes g7. If I can consult the computer, there is another way which I didn't see besides f6 and e5. That is the move knight to e6. Knight to e6 also defending the pawn on g7. Maybe this is the most harmonious or the least weakening way because you're not pushing in the pawn move, and maybe the most sensible. So I think the next few moves will be critical in deciding if white can get some initiative going, can use this extra move that white has.
Yes, in the game I think b takes e5, b takes e5, knight g3, knight g6 can happen. It's also one of these type of positions I feel like Alireza feels like, okay, it's symmetrical, but at least as long as there are no direct threats, I can make those moves instantly, I'm winning time. And the big question is here that is in long terms white able to pose problems, or if white misses the chance of on capitalizing on something early on the game, then black will just be fine. That's a very big question. I do feel that Alireza is feeling quite confident. He's in every single game playing the opening phase quite quickly, so again up on the clock.
Now that's a symmetrical position, but now it has to be broken because white comes in with the first threat in the position, lining up with the bishop and the queen. g7 is a tender spot. Alireza needs to make a decision how he wants to defend it. Knight e6, the move that you were discussing earlier, it looks very logical. Can maybe think about f6 with pawn moves. I'm not really sure how quickly you want to make them. Commit yourself to this pawn move. h4, g4.
Yeah, but then knight b4, and he's going for knight c2 or knight d5, depending. Yeah, Magnus immediately jumps back to d1. What a dramatic endgame.
And it's still not over.
No, not at all.
What is Alireza's resource here? He reaches out, he attacks. What a move. He's putting pressure on a5, and that knight is jumping to d4 with a check.
Yes, double attack. He needs to create threats. Now Magnus also needs to calculate with 15 seconds on the clock. Where does this lead? a6, knight d4 check, and then king takes d1.
And everything's falling apart around us as well in this crazy position. Knight f2 played, and Alireza snaps up the pawn. I think, Peter, this now will end in a draw.
Yes, because Magnus, I think, correctly understood that, yeah, he just can't rely on his a-pawn. He makes sure that he controls the d-pawn, creates the h-passer. Black has to watch out, he has to activate that knight. The knight has to, I don't know, from c6, e5 to, yeah, this is kind of natural. The knight is heading towards the f7 square. Knight e5, knight f7.
And white will also always have the idea of knight d3, knight b4 checks to grab that d2 pawn eventually. Alireza starts with a check. He wants to control it with the f5 square, take the h6 square under control.
A little bit strange for me to invite that king, knight f5, king f4, because it's known that the flank pawn, the h pawn and the a pawns are very dangerous against the knight. He really believes that this is still all fine. It should be, because the pawn is still far away.
And Alireza knows exactly what he's doing. We're gonna head into a king versus king position. What a dramatic fight this was. Another roller coaster battle, and that's what we've come to expect when Magnus Carlsen takes on Alireza Firouzja. Eventually ends in a draw, but the game was not peaceful at all, Peter.
Not at all. It was fantastic, incredible action, but it gives us the chance to jump right into Fabiano